We're here with author Travis Richardson. Travis, thank you so much for being a part of this. Thanks for being here.
Excellent. Well, thank you for having me.
Oh,
I'm
dude.
excited.
So, what is your favorite line in a book?
So when this question was proposed, I had to think of it, and the first thing that came to mind was a poem, and it's the end line of a poem that kind of summarizes everything, and it's from Yevgeny Yevtushenko, who's a Russian poet who's best known for Baba Yari. The poem that came to mind was one called A Vietnamese Classic, and it's about this. It's about the poet, the writer, visiting another kind of writer in Vietnam, and this is right about the time the Vietnam War is happening. So there's no money. It's things are really bad, and this guy, he's like super smart and kind of Buddhist. This man who's being visited, but he's scared to death of this cat that's in the house with him, and he can't understand it. And basically, the host is serving the guests some fish, and so the poet's taking a bite of the fish, and this cat jumps down and takes the little piece of fish, and the host is just terrified, and he jumps back, and the guy's like, what's the big deal? And then he picks up the cat, and it's this big red cat, and then he gets it, and it's about how weightless the cat was, and nothing, I say in all consciousness, did I ever hold in my hands heavier than the weight of that terrifying weightlessness. That always just kind of chilled me, because it was sort of a mystery, you could say, and like what's going on. And then he got it, and just the heaviness. I like the wordplay of the two, this like pure starvation, and the cat had it the most, so he couldn't see it with the big hair.
Right. The imagery stays with you.
Yeah, it always has.
Wow. So you are actually relatively new to publishing.
I am.
Not new to writing.
Right.
But new to publishing, and just kind of getting your feet into that door. What led you to writing, and specifically what led you to writing? Because I know you write screenplays.
Right.
But what led you to wanting to write mystery fiction?
So, I would say what got me originally just the idea of writing, fiction and stories was when I was in college, I double majored. One was economics, the other was letters. And letters was like this liberal arts degree that had a little bit of everything. And I just ended up really liking literature and history, more than the business aspect. And just, so I think that at least kicked in my mind. I wanted to write fiction. Right. For a while, I wanted to write literary fiction, and I think having a subscription to the New Yorker for several years, just kind of same stories of just kind of wealthy, unhappy people that are just doing nothing, and they don't say anything, and they just it really got under my nerves. And this probably isn't the best thing to do, but I can tell you, Richard Ford's The Dog, the Puppy was the name of it. I think that was maybe the final straw for literary short stories for me. And I had already I thought about writing a detective novel, and I did. And it was called The Prodigal Detective, and it was just, getting into that world. Then I discovered Mystery Writers of America and this whole mystery community that was just open and congenial. And then along with that, I was reading the mysteries, and I just like, yes, this is what I want. This is so much better than whatever, I don't know, the new modern, postmodern fiction is, which often is, you're not an artist if you have something happening. It's like, no, you want plot, you want intrigue, you want things to happen.
You want people to want to move forward.
Yeah, and have the crime fiction where, possibly you don't have the brightest, highly educated people, but they're doing things, they're acting, they're in motion, and that's what I think drew me to it.
Oh, very good, very good. Well, can you give us a little bit of what you've done for us? Because you just turned in your book. It's being edited right now, as I understand.
Mm-hmm, it is.
It's called Keeping the Record.
Yes.
What can you tell us a little bit about that?
Okay, so Keeping the Record is the story about a disgraced baseball player. His name is Roy B. Brands, and he has he's took a lot of steroids in the past, and he's had. There's been just horrible results. He has breast, he has a high-pitched voice, and he's also bankrupt. So he's dodging creditors, and he's living in this small apartment in Richmond, California, which is near Oakland. And he finds out that the one thing that he has left in his life, his all-time home run record, this is of course fiction, but I gave him 78 home runs, is about to be broken by a player in St. Louis. And so he decides to set out and try to stop the man from doing that. But as he's getting ready to leave, there are some loan sharks that stop him. There's a conflict, and now he's got a whole bunch of people chasing him as he's trying
to get to.
Yeah. So it's kind of like a, I don't know, Mad World, but it's dark and violent and fun and madcap, I guess you could say.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. That sounds hysterical. Okay. And dark.
Yeah.
Too. Well, okay. Given your several years of New Yorker.
Yeah.
Given your original introduction with literary fiction, and now into crime fiction,
yes.
We're going to throw you on an island.
Right.
You're on the island. You got plenty of food, plenty of water. All's good. Yeah, we'll give you that you've got the complete works of Shakespeare and the Bible. Just
right.
for there.
Nice.
So, but you can only have 3 more. What would those 3 books be that you would take with you?
The first one, by far, I would have Jim Thompson's Pop 1280. That is just, I think it's almost a perfect book. It's you have a narrator. It's unreliable. That it's first person point of view, and yeah, you think he's not the smartest mind. You think he's the dumbest guy in this town, and he's actually the smartest. But yet he's fooling the reader. It's brilliant. It's a satire on just kind of Texas, I guess you could say, and injustice out there. So definitely, and depending on the island, if it's really rainy, maybe I'd get 3 copies. But,
okay, there you go. All right,
okay,
Travis,
cool.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you so much for being part of this.
Thank you.